Texas Roadhouse, the history, the controversies, and the question of trust. 1993, a restaurant called Texas Roadhouse opens its first location. Despite the name, it does not open in Texas. It opens in Clarksville, Indiana. The founder is Kent Taylor, a restaurant entrepreneur with a straightforward idea. He wants to build a place where customers can order steak, enjoy generous portions, and feel like they are getting an affordable version of the American West. The formula is designed to feel familiar. Country music, casual surroundings, freshly baked rolls, buckets of peanuts, and an atmosphere that tells customers they are welcome to relax. The name suggests rugged independence. The decor suggests tradition. The service is meant to suggest hospitality. From the beginning, Texas Roadhouse is selling more than dinner. It is selling an image of America, and that image will become central to the company's success. But over time, the restaurant's history will raise a different question. When a business promises hospitality to everyone, who gets to decide whether that promise is being kept? The 1990s, Texas Roadhouse begins expanding. Its identity is built around a particular version of American culture: the cowboy, the open road, the steakhouse, the family dinner. These ideas are not accidental. They create an emotional connection between the restaurant and a mythology of simplicity, tradition, and belonging. Customers are not just ordering food. They are participating in an experience. The restaurant presents itself as the kind of place where ordinary people can walk in, sit down, and expect to be treated like they belong. That promise is powerful, especially in a country where belonging has never been distributed equally. The early 2000s, Texas Roadhouse continues growing. Its recognizable atmosphere becomes part of its competitive advantage. Servers are energetic, the restaurants are loud, the portions are substantial, and the chain develops a reputation for an experience that is carefully managed, even when it appears informal. That distinction matters. A restaurant does not become a national brand by accident. Its atmosphere is designed, its workers are trained, its public image is maintained. Everything from the music to the menu contributes to a story about what the customer should expect. And one of the most important expectations is safety. Customers trust that the food they receive has been prepared properly. They trust that employees have handled it responsibly. They trust that the people bringing their meals to the table do not see them as targets. For most customers, that trust operates in the background. But for Black customers, trust in public spaces has always involved a different calculation. American restaurants have not always been neutral spaces. For generations, Black Americans were denied service, forced into separate entrances, excluded from dining rooms, or made to feel unwelcome in establishments that claimed to serve the public. Those practices were not just about food. They were about hierarchy. They were about who could enter, who could sit down, and who could expect basic dignity. Even after legal segregation ended, the question did not disappear. It changed form. Now the concern might involve slower service, different treatment, unspoken assumptions, or uncertainty about what happens when the customer cannot see the kitchen. That historical reality is part of the context surrounding any allegation of racial mistreatment in a restaurant. 2011, Texas Roadhouse faces a major legal challenge. The United States Equal Employment Opportunity Commission files a lawsuit against the company. The allegation is not about food contamination, and it is not specifically about racial discrimination. The lawsuit concerns age. Federal officials allege that Texas Roadhouse engaged in a nationwide pattern of refusing to hire applicants who were 40 years old or older for certain customer-facing positions. Those positions included servers, hosts, bartenders, and server assistants. In other words, the people customers are most likely to see. The claim raises an uncomfortable question about how the company's public image may have influenced its hiring decisions. If a restaurant wants to project youth, energy, and a particular atmosphere, who gets pushed aside in the process? The company disputes the allegations. The case moves through the legal system, and for several years, the disagreement continues. 2017. Texas Roadhouse agrees to a $12 million settlement. The settlement resolves the federal age discrimination lawsuit. The company also agrees to changes involving its hiring and recruiting practices. It is important to be precise about what this event establishes. The settlement concerns allegations of age discrimination. It does not prove that Texas Roadhouse discriminated against black customers. It does not prove that employees contaminated anyone's food, but it does show that the company faced serious, documented questions about whether its internal practices matched the image it presented to the public. That distinction matters. A corporation can have polished branding, popular restaurants, and a recognizable identity, while still facing legitimate scrutiny over how it treats people. The settlement becomes part of the company's historical record, and it demonstrates that the distance between public image and internal behavior is not merely a hypothetical concern. 2020, the restaurant industry faces enormous disruption during the coronavirus pandemic. Dining rooms close or operate under restrictions. Businesses adjust to changing customer behavior. Employees face uncertainty. Restaurants depend more heavily on takeout and modified operations. Texas Roadhouse, like other major chains, has to adapt. During this period, the company's relationship with its workforce and customers becomes especially important. Restaurants depend on public confidence. Customers must believe that the food is safe. Workers must believe that their jobs and well-being matter. And companies must convince the public that their stated values are reflected in their actual decisions. The pandemic makes those questions more visible across the entire industry. 2021. Kent Taylor, the founder of Texas Roadhouse, dies. His death marks a significant transition for the company. The man who established the restaurant's identity is gone, but the brand he created continues. By this point, Texas Roadhouse is no longer simply the project of one entrepreneur. It is a major corporation with locations across the country and beyond. Its image belongs to shareholders, executives, franchise operators, employees, and customers. And with that size comes a larger responsibility. A business that serves millions of people cannot rely only on slogans. It has to demonstrate that its standards are being followed across hundreds of locations. That includes food safety, employee conduct, hiring practices, and the treatment of customers from different backgrounds. 2024. Texas Roadhouse continues expanding. Its parent company reports hundreds of restaurants across the United States and international markets. The business also operates additional restaurant concepts. Its growth reflects something important. The company's image remains commercially effective. Customers recognize the name. They know what the restaurant is supposed to represent. Affordable meals, familiar surroundings, and a version of hospitality that feels uncomplicated. But hospitality is never just a marketing word. It is a relationship. And a relationship only works when both sides believe the promise. 2025. The company continues adding locations and strengthening its position in the casual dining industry. Its restaurant network grows to more than 800 locations across its different brands. The scale is impressive, but scale also changes the stakes. When a small restaurant faces a customer complaint, the issue may remain local. When a national chain faces allegations involving discriminatory treatment, the concern can spread across an entire country. Customers do not experience the corporation as a collection of separate legal entities. They experience the name on the sign. They experience the uniforms. They experience the food placed in front of them. And when trust in that name is challenged, the consequences can extend far beyond one location. June 2026. Texas Roadhouse and its related brands report a combined total of 832 restaurants. The company operates across 49 states, 1 United States territory, and 10 foreign countries. What began in an Indiana restaurant has become a major international business. The image remains consistent. American food, American hospitality, a welcoming atmosphere. But the larger the company becomes, the more difficult it is to dismiss concerns about accountability as someone else's problem. A corporation that benefits from a unified brand also has to answer for the confidence that brand creates. August 2026. Allegations begin spreading across social media. According to the claims, restaurant workers participated in online conversations involving racist hostility toward black customers and the possible contamination of their food. Texas Roadhouse becomes one of the companies named in the discussion. The allegations spread rapidly. People begin calling for boycotts. Black customers raise concerns about whether they can safely eat at restaurants where they cannot see how their meals are handled. The allegations have not been independently verified. Texas Roadhouse denies them and says it is investigating. But the immediate public reaction reveals something that cannot be dismissed. The fear is real. For black customers, the possibility of racist food tampering is not just another internet controversy. It strikes at a basic vulnerability. When someone prepares your food, you are trusting them with your body. You are trusting them not to exploit the fact that you cannot see every step of the process. You are trusting that your race will not determine whether your meal is handled with care or contempt. And when that trust is called into question, a corporate statement is only the beginning of what customers need. They need clear answers. They need meaningful investigation. They need accountability if wrongdoing is found. And they need confidence that complaints will be taken seriously. A denial may communicate the company's position. It does not by itself rebuild public trust. That requires evidence, transparency, and action. There is also an important difference between identifying an allegation and deciding what to do as a consumer. A customer does not have to wait for a final court judgment before choosing where to spend money. A black family does not have to prove a national conspiracy before deciding that a situation feels unsafe. And concern about racial hostility should not be treated as an inconvenience, simply because it threatens a company's reputation. Customer safety comes first. The facts still matter. Investigations still matter. But the people whose health and dignity are potentially at risk matter most. The larger story of Texas Roadhouse is not simply the story of a restaurant chain. It is the story of how an American institution builds a public identity. The company sells familiarity. It sells comfort. It sells the idea that anyone can walk through the door and expect a satisfying meal. But that image only holds together if customers believe the welcome is genuine. For Black Americans, the question is not whether a restaurant can produce an appealing advertisement. The question is whether its hospitality survives beyond the dining room. Does it survive in the kitchen? Does it survive in employee group chats? Does it survive when nobody is watching? Texas Roadhouse began with a vision of American hospitality. Now its reputation depends on whether customers believe that hospitality includes them. Because the real test of a restaurant is not how warmly someone greets you at the door. It is whether you can trust what happens after your food disappears behind it.